graduated with a mechanical engineering degree, and when I graduated, I did what all my classmates did. I got a job. I worked at a company called Hatch that was in Toronto. I was a mechanical engineering consultant. I really enjoyed the work, but there was something that I wanted to do with my competitive sailing that I really couldn't do while having a full-time job. So before the 2000 Olympics, I took a leave of absence, campaigned for the 2000 Games, and I learned a ton in that time, sailing full-time. I ended up going to Sydney as a training partner, which was a great experience. And I just felt that through what I had learned through the campaign and through that full-time sailing, that I had a lot to offer as a coach. So got in touch with Fran Charles, and he took a chance on me, and that was back in 2000. And that's when I started, was when I came back from Australia. Well, for me, it was just a love of the sport. I'd done been involved in a lot of different things in my life before this, but I'd always daydreamed of competing on the water. And when I got to MIT in 2000, it was a perfect fit. It allowed me to continue with my competitive sailing on my own in the summers, and then to be focused on the team in the fall through the spring. But it was that total immersion that had me sold that this is something I wanted to do as a career. Well, I'd say it's a couple things. First is having an athletic department that really understands what it takes to be a successful team, a successful student athlete, and a successful coach. So they've supported student athletes, they've supported teams and coaches to be the best that they can be. And so every day we go out to practice or compete, we know we've done everything we can to prepare as well as any other team that we're competing against. That's the first thing. And then secondly, I would say the student athletes at MIT are really extraordinary people. Anything they focus on and really put their energy in, they can achieve some pretty amazing things. So to be a part of their focus and their positive energy it's always fun to show up to work with them. My experience on the Canadian sailing team was certainly a memorable one. I took a leave of absence, kind of an extended hiatus from coaching at MIT in the year 2006. My goal was to make the 2008 Olympic team, and that was a really great run. I sailed in 3 world championships around the world, in Portugal, Australia, and in Korea. Met some great friends, learned some great lessons. I mean, for me, that was my Mount Everest. That was just a fantastic time in my life where I could fully focus on just competing and being as the best athlete I could be. So no regrets. It was a great experience. Certainly some of the lessons I learned along the way I'm able to pass down today. But a lot of fun. That was a long time ago, and I went to school at Queen's University, which is in Canada. We were a club team. We didn't have a lot of guidance or support, things that I can appreciate these days, for sure. And we were only really competitive in certain conditions, at certain times, at certain venues, but mostly single-handed. I could compete pretty well in the single-handed division. Made it to nationals one year. I think I finished 5th. And actually, the year after I graduated, my teammate actually won nationals for Queens. That was a big accomplishment. But we weren't super competitive in a lot of the dinghy events because it just takes so much practice with a partner, and we didn't have the resources to be competitive that way. Well, we have 80 practices, 40 in the fall, 40 in the spring. And each practice is a little different. We try to get on the water for 2 hours every day. And I would say early on in the fall, we're focused mostly on boat handling, accelerations, and maneuvers. And we do a lot of starting practice, especially towards the start of the week, end of the week. We do more practice racing, scrimmaging. And then as we progress through the fall, we're able to work a little bit of team racing into our practices, which is something that everyone enjoys and really loves doing. But team racing without the fundamentals you go kind of backwards doing that. You don't make the progression in the rest of your sailing. So, and the spring is all team racing, so that's great. Everyone loves that. It's especially good because spring can be a little bit chillier, and so having short, intense team race practices in the spring is the perfect thing. Our facility is great for it. We sail right off the dock. If we need to come in and get warm, we'll do that. But I think as a team racing venue, you can't beat sailing at MIT and on the river. It's fantastic. That was a wonderful experience, very memorable. So that team in A Division was Ty, Thamina, Greta, and Yvonne. And in B Division, it was Trevor, Julia, Marcus, John, and Stephen. Just a fantastic group. They love sailing more than anyone I've ever seen. They just love to work hard and practice. They're also great students. And actually think the entire team had a huge contribution in our success that year. That was the evidence of that was our women's team was actually, they went the week before the co-ed team won. Our women's team competed in their women's nationals. And they were actually winning their events, winning nationals going into the final day. Just fell a little bit short there, finished 4th overall, but a fantastic performance. So really a banner year, hardworking group, love to practice hard, and just a joy to be around them. Outside of work, I'm fairly boring, a boring dad, I would say. I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, so we're just kind of coming out of the phase of just taking care of them and making sure they survive. But I had the summer off this summer. COVID stuff, couldn't really do much. So I was taking care of them all summer, which was a lot of fun. It's like the first year where they can do things, ride bikes. And I got my hands on a 25-year-old laser sailboat and ended up taking them out a bunch of times. I really don't want to push them into sailing, but they loved it, which was great. My 6-year-old in a very tiny wind range of 2 to 3 knots can sail a laser by himself, which I thought was pretty fun. I don't want to push him. I don't think it's realistic for him to start sailing at this age. But just with the restrictions this summer, sailing was a really safe and fun thing to do for my kids. College sailing's a little bit different than sailing or yachting. It's sailing small dinghies, so it's very athletic. And we take a lot of walk-ons onto our team based on their athletic abilities. In fact, that nationals team that won in 2018 was pretty unique in that 2 of the starting crews, both starting crews, had never sailed before they came to MIT. They were pure walk-ons. We kind of lucked out that we got them at the same time. And they played a huge part in our success, our overall team success. That was Julia Cho, and that was Thamina Shafiula. Thamina was a 2-time All-American and 2-time team captain. And so both of Thamina and Julia made huge contributions, as do a lot of other walk-ons. Maybe not to that level of success, but certainly they play a big role in the fabric of our team. Well, you've come to the right school. MIT is the birthplace of college sailing. We started sailing in the late 1930s. In fact, we had a sailing program before the Naval Academy and the Coast Guard Academy. So there's a very rich history of sailors coming to MIT, of people learning to sail at MIT and having that experience change their life in a lot of ways. So I would say we're very welcoming to people who've never sailed before. You can take a PE class. There's learn to sail classes throughout the summer, spring, summer, and fall. And you can go wherever you want with sailing at MIT. There's really so many places to go. We have access to a big boat, Mashney, that's kept in the harbor. We have smaller boats. If you learn to sail in a smaller boat, you're good to go on anything. But you'll be learning from some really great people, and it's just a fantastic experience down at the pavilion. So come check it out, or email us, or check us out on our website. We'll be happy to teach you how to sail, and come on down.